Good day, everybody. I hope that you're well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 8. We're doing high school, but we're going to focus on grade 8 English lesson on synonyms and antonyms. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts. Grade 8. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of synonyms and antonyms. All right. So our chapter is synonyms and antonyms. Our subject is English language arts. We're focusing on grade 8. And the lessons that we are going to be doing today under the chapter of synonyms and antonyms, it is to choose the synonym and it is to choose the antonym. All right. So when it comes to synonyms, right? We said synonyms are words with the same meaning, or it is words with nearly the same meaning. So it's words with the same meaning or words with almost the same meaning. Nearly or almost the same meaning. And if we look at it at an example, the word cheerful, look at the word cheerful. The word cheerful and buoyant, they are synonyms. So the word cheerful and the word buoyant, they are synonyms. And the reason why they are synonyms, because both of these words, they mean happy, or they mean you are like you're upbeat. You're happy, you are upbeat, you are, you're feeling yourself. No, this is not grade six. On a Tuesday, we do this grade eight math, and this is actually high school. This is actually high school. So this time, it's actually high school advanced writing, but because I only teach up to grade eight, then I usually use this for grade eight. So I usually on a Tuesday we focus on grade eight during this time for English also, right? All right. So once again, we say synonyms are words with the same meaning, or it's words with nearly or almost the same meaning. And we made an example of the word cheerful and the word buoyant, right? And then we said the word cheerful and buoyant, both of those words mean where you are being happy or you like being upbeat, you are excited, right? Both of the words mean that. And that we call synonyms. So, synonyms, so when the meanings of these words are the same or almost the same, but the words are just different, we call them synonyms. And then we have antonyms, right? And we're going to go over more examples now of synonyms, and we're going to look at more examples of antonyms. But now, when it comes to antonyms, antonyms are words with the opposite meaning of another word. So antonyms are words with the opposite meaning. So synonyms are words with the same meaning or almost the same meaning, but antonyms, on the other hand, are words with opposite meaning. For example, we have a word counterfeit. So counterfeit is an antonym, right? And counterfeit is the antonym of the word real. It's like the opposite of the word real because counterfeit means fake, or it means forged. But the opposite of fake or the opposite of forged means real. That is why the antonym of counterfeit is real, right? Pardon. So that is antonyms and that is synonyms. So now we're going to look at more examples of synonyms and we're going to look at more examples of antonyms. And if we were to think of more examples of synonyms, words with the same meaning or almost the same meaning, as well as antonyms, right? Words with the opposite meaning of that specific word. And then we can say, if you look at the word, let's say boy, right? We have the word boy, and the opposite of boy, or let's say father. Look at the word father, because let's start at synonyms first. The word father. The word that's the same as father, or almost the same as father, we can say is dad. So we have the word father, and the word that's the same as father, we can say it is dad. Because if we look at the word father or dad, both of that words, they have basically, so father and dad, or we can say mom and mother. Both of these words, they basically play the same role. It's just that someone calls him dad, someone calls him father, right? And if we look at more examples of synonyms, right? And then more examples of synonyms. Let me just remove this and make it more smaller. Okay, so that we can keep more examples in. And then more examples of synonyms are words like large. And another word for large, right? A word that is the same as or almost the same as large, we can say it is big. The word true, the word that's the same as or almost the same as true, we can say is, if something is true, then it is correct. Rich, and another word for rich, we can say it is wealthy. If you are angry, we can say either I'm angry at this person or I am mad at that person. So either I'm angry at that person or I am mad at that person. Ill, another word for ill. Like I felt ill today. Another word for ill. Another word for ill we can say is I got sick or I feel sick. Sad and unhappy. These are but a few examples of synonyms, right? Synonyms. Words with the same meaning or words with nearly the same meaning, right? Large, big, true or correct, rich, wealthy, either I'm angry but I'm also mad. Angry and mad is the same. I'm feeling ill. I'm sick, sad, and unhappy. Those are synonyms, right? It's words with the same meaning or it is words with almost the same meaning. And now we're going to look at a few examples of antonyms, right? It is now words with opposite in meaning, words that are opposite in meaning. And a few examples of words with opposite in meaning. I think the first word that we can even look at is look at that word correct. The word that is opposite of incorrect, of correct, sorry, is incorrect, meaning it is not correct. Always, and the word opposite of always is never. I'm buying something, right? If I buy something, I get the product, I give the money. But the opposite of buying is selling. Because when somebody sells something to me, then it means that they are giving it to me, right? Dry, and the opposite of dry is wet. These are but a few examples that I can now think of that are antonyms, words with opposite in meaning. Different. The opposite of different is the same. And then we have cold, and the opposite of cold is warm, and the opposite of right is wrong. So these are but a few examples of synonyms, which you said are words with the same meaning or nearly the same meaning. And here are a few examples of antonyms, words with the opposite meaning, right? And there we made a few examples of both of them. So now we're going to a+students.ca and we're going to continue with antonyms and we're going to choose, sorry, synonyms and antonyms. So now we're going to choose the synonym. And we said synonyms are words with the same meaning or almost the same meaning. All right. And once again, we made an example of cheerful and buoyant, right? Both those words, cheerful and buoyant, right? Both of those words mean that you're either happy or you're very upbeat, right? That is what buoyant or that is what cheerful mean. Because if you're a cheerful person, you're a buoyant person, you're always happy, you're excited, you're upbeat, you're always walking with a smile on your face, right? So that is words with the same meaning or words with almost the same meaning. All right, so now we're going to our test where we are going to choose the synonym. All right, so now it says which word is the synonym of tedious? Which word is the synonym of tedious? Is it detailed or is it boring? Tedious. We need to find the meaning of tedious. Is it detailed? Well, the synonym of tedious, is it detailed or is it boring? And if we were to find the meaning of the word tedious, right? Then we can say the word tedious, it means boring, right? It means boring. So the word that's the same as or almost the same as tedious, we can say it is boring. All right. We need to say which word is a synonym, which means it's the same as, or almost the same as maternal. Maternal. What is the word that's the same as maternal? Is it motherly or is it mammalian? Mammalian. Is it motherly or mammalian? Sorry. Maternal. Motherly or mammalian. And if we were to find the meaning or the word that's the same as or almost the same as maternal, we can say it is motherly. It's maternal, motherly, because it's related to a mother. All right, then another word, we need to say what is the synonym of covered. The synonym of covered. Is it undisguised or is covered a secret? So, covered, what is the word, the synonym of the word covered? Is it undisguised or secret? Covered. And the word that's the same as covered, or let's say the synonym of covered, right? We can say the synonym of covered is secret, right? It is a secret. It's something that is not openly acknowledged, right? Oops. The next one is disperse. Disperse. What is the synonym of disperse? Is it scatter or is it shed? Disperse, scatter, or shed. Disperse. What does disperse mean? Scatter or shed? And the word disperse, right? It means to scatter. It's like you're distributing something. It's like you're giving something. It's like scattering something, right? It's like spreading it over an area, like seeds when you're busy planting it. So scatter is another word for disperse. What is the synonym? Which word is a synonym of punctual? Punctual. Is it on time or is it just responsible? On time or responsible? Punctual. Is it on time or responsible? All right. And if we were to identify, or let's say if we were to choose what punctual is, right? And then we can say punctual is being on time. That is punctual. It's like we are on time. So well done. Punctual is on time. Persist. What is the word persist? Is it to vanish? Persist. Is it to vanish or to remain? Persist. Vanish or remain. Persist. Vanish or remain. And the word that's a synonym of persist, we can say it is to remain. And before we go on to antonyms, once again, synonyms are words with the same meaning or it's words with almost the same meaning, right? Now we're going to antonyms, and we said antonyms are words with the opposite meaning. So antonyms are words with the opposite meanings, right? So now we're going to our test where we are going to look at antonyms, words that is the opposite meaning of that specific words. And we made an example of counterfeit. The word counterfeit means it is either fake or it is forged. And the opposite of counterfeit is real, right? So these are all words that is opposite in meaning. Correct, incorrect is opposite. Big, small is opposite. Now we're going to our test where we are going to say which word is the antonym, the opposite of the word. Which word is the antonym of the word? I think it's arid. Is it cold or is it wet? Cold or wet, arid or arid. And the word arid, right? It cannot mean wet because it is usually arid is basically a word that is where there's no rain or little rain. So we can maybe say it is cold. Let's see, cold. Ah, why is it wet? If there's little rain or no rain and it's dry, it's waterless, then it shouldn't even be wet. But okay, arid means wet. Oh, the opposite. Because arid, if it means you don't get wet, if it's like, it's waterless, there's no rain, then the opposite is wet. Yes, sorry. I forgot it's the opposite. Which word is the antonym of abate? Abate. Is it to increase or is it to support? Abate. Is it to increase or to support? And if we want to look, and if we want to find or identify, let's use the word identify, the antonym of abate, and then we can say the antonym of abate is to increase, because abate is like to lessen something. So, which means that the opposite of lessen is to increase. All right. Which word is the antonym, the opposite of biased? Biased does mean that you are supportive or you are fair. Biased. The opposite of bias is it supportive or fair? And if we were to identify the word that is the opposite of biased, right? Then we can say the word that is the opposite of biased is fair. Because bias, it's like where you're unfair, right? You're against someone or something. So the opposite of biased is fair. Which word is the synonym or the opposite of trivial? Trivial, is it important or is it minor? Trivial. What is the opposite of trivial? Is it important or is it minor? Trivial. And the word that's the opposite of trivial, right? Trivial means that something is unimportant, so which means that the opposite of unimportant is important. So trivial, so important is the opposite of trivial. So well done. What is the antonym of suppress? The antonym of suppress. Is it to destroy or is it to encourage? Suppress. Is it to destroy or encourage? All right. And if we were to look at the word that is the opposite of suppress, then we can say the opposite of suppress is to encourage. All right. Let's go to the last word and then we're done. Which is the antonym of dissent? Is it to agree or to acknowledge? Dissent. Agree or acknowledge? Dissent. Does it mean that you're agreeing or acknowledge? Dissent. And the word, the opposite of dissent, right, is to agree because dissent means to disagree, right? So to agree is the opposite of dissent. All right. So we said that antonyms are words with the opposite of meaning. Synonyms, on the other hand, are words with the same meaning, or it's words with almost the same meaning as another word. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on synonyms and antonyms. Thank you very much, grade 8s, for joining the class, and I really hope that you're going to have a good evening further. So, till next time, goodbye. Goodbye. Bye, Ansel.